You're listening to the Chartographers.
Hello, everybody! You are listening to the Chartographers. It is a music-loving podcast for music-loving people where we take every single album by a particular artist and we rank it worst to best and forget the rest. You know what the rest is? It's empty calories. It's just sugar. You don't need it. By listening to this podcast, you get thinner. It's amazing. So, guys, listen. We're right now. We've had a really amazing season 2. You guys have been incredible. The response has been incredible, and we've done nothing but the big artists. All right, we've done the king of pop, Michael Jackson. We've done the king of parody, Weird Al Yankovic. We've done the king of state history and sadness, Sufjan Stevens. We've done it all. But the thing is, we decided, you know what? We want to move into another direction. We want to go ahead and have another mountain we have yet to climb. I actually wanted this as the season finale. Taran rightly pushed me like, we told the guests we were going to do it like 8 months ago, so we're going to do it. And so we are finally going to do it. That's right. We are going to talk about one of the biggest rock bands in all of history, the group that single-handedly preserved the North American mud shark. That's right, guys. We are talking about Led Zeppelin.
I think they love being remembered for that particular thing.
I think that's their only accomplishment as far as I'm concerned.
The
North American mud shark.
Yeah.
Right. We'll get happy hour minisode after this. Guys, listen, Led Zeppelin, they are, of course, the British rock group that, through a love of American blues and old early rockabilly music, wound up building off the template for which all of modern rock music is, or, you know, basically, if you want to get down to it. But the thing about it is that what's great about Led Zeppelin is their contradictions. They were a rock band that also had a lot of, like, folk songs and ballads. They were aggro, aggressive horn dogs with a great Lothario reputation, and yet here they are talking about J.R.R. Tolkien in their lyrics. There's constant contradictions to who and what they are, and that contradictions lead to tension. Tension leads sometimes to great-ass music and drama, and that's what we're talking about today. And why are we excited to rank the albums of Led Zeppelin? Because we have an amazing trio here for this very celebration day. That's right. First off, it is me, Evan Sadi, the host of this podcast. You might also know me as an editor over at Pop Matters. And of course, I couldn't do this podcast without the one other person over here, the page to my plant. That's right. Taran O'Reilly, the co-founder, co-creator of this podcast. Taran!
Hey!
How you doing?
I like that. That means I'm the more talented one, right?
Yes.
You're the founding member of Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, basically, he is the founding member of this podcast, basically.
Yeah.
No quarter between us. That's great. But
Yeah.
hey, listen, on top of that, though...
You've got so many today. It's so bad.
I was trying to think of someone to win.
I don't want to leave the listeners dazed and confused. I don't want to do that. So guys, listen. This is what the listeners come here for. Terrible, terrible puns and pretty much nothing else. But on top of that, guys, listen, like Tara and I, we could do this podcast. We know a good amount of Led Zeppelin, but trust us, when I was growing up, my brother, he had a tie-dye Apollo's Led Zeppelin logo poster like in his room. And like there are people that know rock music, but then there is our guest today. The one, the only. He is a songwriter and guitarist for the band Phantom Roar. He has so much knowledge, I can't wait to grab his brain and pick it apart. That's right, the dearly beloved Phil O'Reilly is here in studio.
Hello,
Phil,
everyone.
how you doing?
I am great. I'm very excited. I moved away from Zeppelin for a while. This was an excuse to get it all back out again and dig back through it.
And how was that journey for you?
It was... spectacular and enlightening.
All right. That was so measured in your response.
I was trying to think of a pun, but I bailed. So we'll do that. I'll find one later.
Was it in the lightning?
In the light. I was in the house of the holy.
And that's the end of the episode.
Thanks for listening.
No,
All right.
I accept that.
So, guys, listen. We're talking about Led Zeppelin, and they have 8 to 9 albums, depending on who you talk to. So let's go through at least the initial core. Of course, there is Led Zeppelin 1 and Led Zeppelin 2 that both came out in 1969. The slightly more acoustic-ish album, Led Zeppelin 3, that came out in 1970. Maybe some people have heard of Led Zeppelin 4/Zoso. It came out in 1971. A little bit more genre experimentally, 1973's Houses of the Holy. Then, of course, there is the double disc epic that is Physical Graffiti from 1975. There's the album they put out in 1976 called Presence, and of course there is the final thing that they released while they were still a band together, which was Into the Outdoor in 1979. Synths, lots of synths. And so then on top of it... on top of it, though, there's two weird qualifiers we want to get into. One of them, I think, is pretty much obvious. The song remains the same. The live album they put out in 1976 is kind of a bit of a holdover, kind of a piecemeal thing while they were in the studio. There was the soundtrack to the film. The film is kind of weird. The soundtrack is a bunch of songs from the film, and even then, even real ass Led Zeppelin fans were like, yeah, they weren't performing their best that night when they filmed that for the Madison Square Garden concert. So I think we can easily not count that, right? Good.
Right.
Yeah.
We can talk about that later.
Exactly. But the other thing that is here is, of course, a weird little twist of the fate in 1982 in the form of the album Coda. This is after Bonzo died. This is after, and they decided we're not doing a band anymore. If we can't have a drummer, we're not going to fucking do it. But they put out this like not a rarities album, more of an outtakes album.
Right,
exactly. As kind of the quote unquote coda, get it, to their legacy.
I mean, it is sort of a rarities album, though, because literally I think
these
was
are outtakes.
Paige who said, like, there are so many bootlegs of these songs out there that we might as well put out official versions.
Yeah. And during the 2014-2015 Led Zeppelin reissue campaign, Coda was very much considered a part of that lineage, as part of the quote-unquote core albums, at least as Led Zeppelin themselves perceive it.
Right.
So even though it has stuff like a live version of I Can't Quit You Baby, which is, of course, a song that appears off of Led Zeppelin 1 way back in the day, there's still, again, these kind of outtakes, and also a song called fucking Bonzo's Montreux, which is... we'll get into that. But the other thing we want to talk about there is that whether or not we include it on a ranking of their albums worst to best. Phil, where do you fall on this?
Well, I mean, when I think of, like, the studio albums, I think of, like, they're doing new work, they're releasing stuff they recorded in that year in those sessions. But,
if you go that way, Physical Graffiti technically
yeah, this was going to say,
like,
it's like some of the other ones are...
Yeah.
You know what? We can leave it in. We can
leave it in?
You want to leave it in?
Sure.
Leave it in?
I'm cool with that.
Okay.
I mean,
I guess I'm cool with that too. I was definitely waffling on that this week, just because, I mean, it does have a live version of a song they previously released, which usually for us means that we don't include it. But
sure.
It's only one song.
I'm also fine leaving it in because it's better than one of the official albums.
I'll agree with that if we're going off that point. And then also your point of on I forgot Physical Graffiti has some stuff that was recorded earlier that they released.
Like the song Houses of the Holy, weirdly not included on their album.
That's
Holy.
also
Which
why it's a double
album,
album, is because they recorded like just barely more material than would be in normal albums. They were like, well, let's put all these other songs on it too.
Indeed.
So on top of it, though, the most important thing about this podcast, I wanted to note that in studio right now, Taran and Phil are both wearing Led Zeppelin t-shirts. That is a thing that has happened, that is real. But Phil, when he came into the studio, he didn't just have the t-shirt, he brought multiple books, tabbed and bookmarked and indexed of stuff he'd been researching in the week leading up to this. So he also, when I sent him the link to when Train and last year recorded Led Zeppelin 2 song for song, I'm like,
for no apparent
reason. I'm like, don't you love it, Phil? He didn't seem to realize. I'm like, no, it's a joke. I understand. It's the stupidest fucking thing.
Yeah, okay. Well, I couldn't tell at first because I was like, it's not terrible.
There's just no point to it.
But I'm like, when I think of Train, I think of like
the greatest
Hey Soul
rock
Sister,
band of all time.
Right? And then I'm like. Right.
What's Calling All Angels? Is that there?
Yeah, or Drops of Jupiter, or whatever that one is, and I'm like...
Listen, I'm telling you right now, Chartographers would do a Train podcast just so we could shit on them so hard for like 2 hours. I would do it. I would absolutely do it.
I wouldn't be
Fuck
here
you,
for that.
Pat Monahan. You have that one good song. It's called Eggplant. All right, so guys, listen. We're going to go ahead and do it. We're going to do all 9 albums of it. Led Zeppelin 1 through 4, House of the Holy, Physical Graffiti, Presence Into the Outdoor, and Coda. So... guys, woo, now listen here. First off, I know there are some hardcore Zepp heads that are going to be like, well, why can't it be a 9-way tie? Because, like, it's Zeppelin. They're imputable.
No
because they have some garbage. They have some garbage mixed in with that.
No one who has listened to my number 9 pick will say, why can't it be a 9-way tie?
But the other thing is that we are putting masterpieces against it, so listen.
I like your accent used for that, too.
Yeah.
Why can't it be a 9-way tie?
All of our Southern Chartographers fans, Georgia, shout out right there. But listen, the thing is, these are, in some cases, there are masterpieces being pitted against each other. Will your album get to number 1? I don't know. I really don't know. So that's the part of the joy of it. But let's start with the easy thing. Special guest Phil O'Reilly. Ranking 1 through 9, number 9. Just out of curiosity, because we always have to ask it. Phil, in your opinion, what is the worst Led Zeppelin album. 9th best if you're hardcore.
No, the worst. In Through the Outdoor.
Interesting. All right.
That is an acceptable choice.
Now, let's get a little bit about what Into the Outdoor was. First off, it was the longest break they had between albums. Between 1976's Presence and 1979. There was a lot of stuff that went down, including, I believe this is the time when, after Robert Plant had lost his son.
Right.
So they still weren't touring as much anymore. They were doing a lot of things. And also, at the same time, of course, brilliant guitarist, songwriter Jimmy Page and, the great John Paul Jones. They were also dealing with not John Paul Jones, sorry.
Yeah. John Bonham.
John
Bonham, the drummer.
They were dealing with massive addiction problems at the time too. So basically, Robert Plant and John Paul Jones were in the studio together, and John Paul Jones, he just got this brand new synthesizer thing. Guys, this is really fun. We should write some songs with it.
Yeah.
So a lot of that album is them writing a lot of songs with the synthesizer.
That to me is part of the reason why it's the worst. And I'm not trying to bash John Paul Jones because he's great. But if we're talking, what I enjoy about Led Zeppelin is the hard rock guitar, and it's not, with the exception of maybe like in the evening, it's not as present.
Right. Well, this whole album is very much not a rock album for the most part. I feel like I can say that
for sure.
Yeah. No, this is a late '70s pop album for sure.
Because
definitely.
Go ahead.
And you can hear. I mean, it still has some of the old styles that they've done, like when they pull out Hot Dog, which might be my least favorite song on here.
But it's their Elvis impression. They love Elvis so goddamn much.
And they also, in the evening, I is, pretty good. And I actually think that Southbound Suarez is, really fun.
It's like their Who moment. I think this is kind of like their Who moment.
Yeah, sure.
Which is also
that.
ironic because John Entwistle actually is the guy who came up with the name Led Zeppelin to begin with.
And that's,
Yeah,
that totally makes sense. And that's I've said this earlier this week. In Through the Outdoor is a bad Led Zeppelin album. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But if you don't listen to it as a Led Zeppelin album and just listen to it,
enjoyable.
It's like
I suppose.
Well, it has its moments.
Yeah, but I mean,
All of My Love is just cheesy as fuck. And
that synth sound has not aged well. I mean, it really has.
We know everybody's singing it out there with us too.
All of my love. Also, John Paul Jones, he said that was the greatest vocal thing.
No, I thought it was John Bonham said that.
Oh, did he?
You keep mixing them up.
The Johns, one of the Johns said.
But that's I think it's funny that John Bonham said that because I think he sounds like shit on that song. But also, though, can we talk about how Carousel Ambra is kind of baller?
Holy shit!
After you get through the first 4.5 minutes,
which I never can,
of this
so that's part of the
over
reason
10-minute song.
Right.
The second and third movements are
it has kind of this guitar stoner slow down.
Yeah. It's solid.
It's fascinating. I wouldn't call it a great song. There's parts of it I like. Also, Fool in the Rain is the song that I think perpetually is about to break out into the Pina Colada song at any given goddamn second.
I mean, they literally have a samba breakdown.
Yeah,
in the middle of Fool in the Rain.
Which is one of those things, I appreciate it, but it's also
Again, which is why, if we're comparing, what's the worst Led Zeppelin album, it might be a great, I can't think. I don't know pop music. It might be great. I was about to be it might be a great late 70s pop person insert
great
here.
Is a strong word. I'm saying
this is their Billy Ocean album. Let's be real.
So mine is In Through the Outdoor. I don't know what else.
Now, here's the thing. I genuinely feel like In Through the Outdoor isn't going to rise very high. Mm-hmm. However, I want to toss out something. Oh, but Taran wants to toss out something. No,
toss it.
I'm tossing out Presence.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about Presence. Presence, aside from a few moments, and by few moments I mean Achilles' Last Stand, and actually T for One, Presence basically, more than Led Zeppelin 1, sounds like a debut album. And I mean that. It's basically kind of this very cut down, very kind of basic, not imaginative rock.
It's missing its edge.
Yeah.
It's missing its innovation, which is something that you hear so much through those first 6 albums that it's just when you get to Presence, you're where are the hooks? I think part of it is that the riffs aren't as catchy, and then they also don't have like a good like vocal hook on them.
Right, they're kind of a little bit more generic to a degree. Which is like, I mean, I like Hot Song for Nowhere is like it's got a little bit of a vibe to it. It's got a little bit of kind of a, you know, a little jangle to it. But like Royal Orleans, For Your Life, like these aren't songs that are like lasting legacy starters by any means whatsoever.
I mean, the appeal. I wanted to. I'm checking my texts.
Oh my god.
Because I couldn't remember the exact story about Royal Orleans, but Royal Orleans was a hotel in the French Quarter of New Orleans, a place where the band relaxed and enjoyed life in an imitable. I can't read either, guys. Fashion. I know all this crap about every metal band in the 80s and every hard rock band in the 70s, but I can't read, guys. They spent a lot of time in gay bars where they found the drag queens more fun than boring, quote, straights and can drink without being hassled.
Well, and for the record,
so
if you've seen any of the mid-70s era Jimmy Page outfits when he was on stage, that man
he fits in
was
a gay bar.
Flashy-ass motherfucking dresser.
And then when you have your lead singer who has an open shirt and no underwear.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Perfect.
Apparently there's a lot of going on.
I guess the reason I like Presence more than In Through the Outdoor is because Achilles' Last Stand is so epic.
It is.
It's true.
And if you see any live version that they play it from like the 1979 Nebworth concert where they play Achilles' Last Stand is some of the best drumming from Bonzo and some of the best guitar playing from Page ever. And Nobody's Fault But Mine is like it's a song. You're right. It's a song that exists. Some of their heaviest stuff, like heaviest riffing, I think.
Like it just doesn't. It doesn't lead to a good amalgam.
But I agree. I mean, Royal Orleans, Candy Store Rock, and Hot's On for Nowhere, which I can't even like say. So out.
I don't really like that one.
You know, so.
So that's the thing too. We're like, I feel like with In Through the Outdoor, I know it's not the least Led Zeppelin one, but like even on Hot Dog where they do this Elvis riff, like there's at least a little bit of fun. Even with the craziness of Carousel Alhambra, there is at least trying new things. I can give In Through the Outdoor a little bit of credit despite its dated nature, unlike Presence, which weirdly feels like an obligation. of an album.
Think that's the other thing.
Obligation.
Is that if you took In Through the Outdoor and gave it actual good synths, it'd be a better album, right?
Re-recorded the synth parts.
Don't change anything else than just re-record the synth parts with
38 years later
synths that don't sound like
EDM.
actual garbage. I think that it would be a very enjoyable album.
EDM with that,
and it has more songs on it that I actually like felt myself going back to this week.
Okay,
maybe kind of sort of.
The sake of
you don't have to say anything. If we need to outvote, we will outdo it there because I'm telling you right now. The only reason why I would team up with Taran and outvote on this situation is because I am not going to win a lot of victories later on in this podcast. I can tell you, my opinions are going to be hated. So that's just me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
all right, just saying it out there like that.
Yeah.
You guys. I want all the real Zeppelin fans to know that it's them twos, not me. Saying that Presence is the worst? Are we?
I would say. Listen. If we put Presence at number 9, I would also put Into the Outdoor at number 8.
Oh, absolutely.
That is.
I'll go with that.
Okay.
I'll go for that.
That sounds good. In that case, the ranking has been decided. Presence number 9, Into the Outdoor at number 8, and I think that also makes our number 7 pretty obvious too.
We have to put Coda here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not putting Coda above any of those other
anything
six.
else.
Not even.
And the
close.
thing is, I know for a fact there are Zeppelin fans that actually have a little bit of a heart for Coda too. Because listen, also I want to say that We're Gonna Groove is I think a pretty great opener.
Yeah, they used it a lot in the
genuine
early
lost classic. Like
they used it a lot in their late '60s, early '70s concerts as an opener. One of which was the Royal Albert Hall concert, which is great. Which is also where the I Can't Quit You Baby is from.
Well, I think that's where this take of We're Gonna Groove is from too.
Yeah. So there's and then
right. You said that's what you were saying. Sorry.
You're right, buddy.
I'm with you.
Walter's Walk too was used a lot. The da part was I'm air guitaring too, just so you know, with my left hand.
For those on the video podcast,
but
premium subscribers,
right? Premium, yeah. Oh boy. But that was used a lot in Dazed and Confused when they would, do their 30-minute epic. Page would throw those riffs in a lot. So obviously they enjoyed using that. And what's funny about Coda is if you buy, like I did, the deluxe editions, the extra stuff that they included with Coda, I like a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, what can I do?
Traveling
Riverside Blues.
Right, exactly.
Hey,
White
what
Summer.
can I do is like really solid.
Right. It's really good song. Really good song. So I'll agree with that at 7. Yeah, absolutely.
And also like I also want to throw out a quick thing for Poor Tom on there because I feel like that's they kind of
that's my favorite
style a little bit, right? And I wasn't really expecting to get into it, but like again, when they repurpose blues stuff the way that they do, like they do it so differently from a lot of other bands.
Seriously,
in the time, because you think about like a lot of times there were bands in the era in the late '60s, early '70s that were taking American blues and they were just doing these straightforward, basically white-ass versions of it. Just like,
for example, early Fleetwood Mac.
Yes.
There's a reason we did not talk about early Fleetwood Mac when we did our Fleetwood Mac episode, because it's all like really straightforward blues.
But it's white people doing it. So like it's just kind of this, okay.
Thanks, guys. I mean, there's a whole British blues explosion, and that's where these bands came from.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But they repurposed it so much better than anyone else. But yeah, Coda, it's fine. It also has Bonzo's Montreal, which he drums a lot, and then Page adds a bunch of fucking sound effects. Like, as a production standpoint, it's pretty cool, but like,
there's no other way to make that sound without
shoulder.
Yeah,
all right, cool. All right, guys. So in that case, number 9, Presence. Number 8, Into the Outdoor. Number 7, Coda. Listen, the easy part is done. We've made it through here, and now
it
the
gets
shit.
so much harder.
We only have an hour, right?
Exactly.
we can take as much time as we need.
So that being said, we've gone through 3 albums. I think it's fair to rotate it back. Oh, I'm loving and dreading and hating this next moment that's about to happen. Phil.
Yeah.
Number 6.
Oh, God.
What? And again, it's a debate. No one's minds are settled. We all have different opinions. I would be willing to be swayed one way or another.
It's so hard.
What would you put at number 6? What's your gut telling you? And I'm not even looking because I don't want to deal with it.
Well, okay, so here's the thing about listening to stuff. I had my list all ready to go, and then I listened to parts of Physical Graffiti on the way up here, and I'm like, this stuff is so good. So that bumped it up. So I'm gonna have to go with with Led Zeppelin 1.
No. No.
I'm gonna have to go with Led Zeppelin 1.
It's a really close, and I knew like really early on this week as Evan was telling me some of his opinions, I was like, oh God, we're gonna fight so much. Yeah, absolutely. God. And just I would say just barely below Physical Graffiti. So we can talk about that next because I know that Evan will have some defense.
I'm gonna say too, Led Zeppelin 1 is a fantastic blues hard rock record.
Yeah.
But when you stack it up against the other 6, it's like that is their debut album. So it's like they're just starting to find their footing, I feel like, and it's only solidified in later records.
Exactly.
I'll get to that. I'm just gonna and here's the other thing too is I'm thinking about songwriting too. Mm-hmm. A lot of the first album are cover songs or interpretations of other people's stuff.
On blues standards.
Right. So that's another reason why I'm like, you have other records that have really awesome stuff that they actually wrote, or, well, it depends on which bands are suing them, but they wrote. So I'm going to say that. 6.
Yeah.
I can be swayed, though. I had In Through the Outdoor as my least, and you swayed me there, but...
I would... definitely agree. I would say Good Times, Bad Times is such a phenomenal opening statement for a band. Like a debut first track, like it shows you exactly what you're in for like their whole discography.
Absolutely.
But then after that, I would also say the first 2 tracks, Babe I'm Gonna Leave You, also it has this whole, I mean, it's like 6 minutes, right?
Yeah,
and
at least.
It goes through all these different...
And that caterwaul that he has.
Like, movements and...
So, again, it's great. It's just that there's so much... That's the 25 or 6 to 4.
Yeah!
That they just...
Except that 25 or 6 to 4 came out 2 years after this.
Well, there you go. So they didn't copy that one.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later. Lemon song.
I looked that up earlier today.
A whole lot of love. We'll get into that later. Since I've been loving you.
Yeah, keep going. No, there's the roll off the hits.
And if you talk to the band, okay, is it the band? Well, we'll get to it later. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sidetrack.
I also really dig Your Time Is Gonna Come.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's almost a Rolling Stones song, basically.
Yeah, kind of.
Come in,
really?
Your time is gonna come.
I was gonna say it kind of felt like a late stage Paul McCartney number.
Yes,
but
I can see that too.
Interesting. Yeah,
I can see that too.
But I also think about that because You Can't Always Get Your Want was basically their version of Hey Jude anyway.
Right.
So,
well, and then Communication Breakdown that's like a punk rock song before punk rock.
Yeah, totally. And that absolutely won me this week.
Yeah.
Because the Communication Breakdown.
What are you guys talking about? You're talking about fucking great songs all the way straight through.
I know we're contradicting that. We're like, this is all so great.
Like, and here's let's dive into the butt because I know what the butts are. The butts are You Shook Me, which is this 7-minute long fucking but it's so... I mean, again, this is... When you think about what their debut album is, when I was listening to it this week, weirdly enough, I was going straight through, but the way my computer had organized it, it was done in, like, alphabetical order, so started with Coda, and then it went through Into the Outdoor, and then it went to... And so it's one of the things where, like, starting with those latter albums, like, listening to it straight through, and then all of a sudden Led Zeppelin... Boom! Like, it just bops you so hard. It's an explosion.
Especially if you start with the later albums.
And the thing is that you talk about, you read some of the interviews, you talk about how Robert Plant, how he said that he was really worried that he didn't think he was going to be in the band after the first album because, like, this is really hard on my voice to keep doing these fucking songs.
Yeah, well, you can tell by later tours, for
yes,
sure.
you can.
Right.
But at the same token, though, like, the thing is, this really is a fully formed debut, and I know they were basing a lot of the stuff off of these blues songs that they knew really well in the studio.
They'd already done a fucking tour together as the Yardbirds. Like, they had their sound.
But the new Yardbirds.
Excuse me, the new Yardbirds.
Yeah, I'm sorry for you historians out there. But the thing is that, like, this is just such a fully formed thing. Rather than it, Dazed and Confused is this leery, sneering, sinister little number that just kind of, like, when you have that, like, guitar...
That Jake Holmes wrote.
Yeah. And when you have that guitar squeal that sounds like a person's voice, that like it is just it's the thing is you get such diversity of elements. Even that little acoustic part of Black Mountain Side, which is just a little 2-minute little ditty riff, and it's still just enjoyable and fun.
Which Page did on several other records, or at least a couple other times too, adding little things in there. So what's your counter then? Convince me.
Exactly. So my counter, and here's the thing. You gotta keep in mind, look at what we're up against. Physical Graffiti, House of the Holy, Led Zeppelin 2, 4, and also Led Zeppelin 3.
Fuck no.
No. Okay, so here's what we're going to get into a little bit there. Because here's the thing. When you think about Led Zeppelin 3, I want to point out how you could talk about the worst song on Led Zeppelin 1. When you say the worst song of Led Zeppelin 1 is somehow worse than Hats Off to Roy Harper, is that what you're going to tell me right now in the studio?
So your pick is 3 for 6, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But Led Zeppelin 3 has an extra song. And it's Hats Off to Roy Harper.
Listen, no,
but really though, Hats Off to Roy Harper, not to spoil anything, might be my pick for worst.
It's a garbage piece.
It's garbage, and it's not even. I mean, it's like full. What's the style they're doing there? It's like folksy almost, and there's a lot of like.
I think you're thinking of folk garbage.
Folk garbage, sure.
Invented a new genre.
But then also, Page applied this filter to Plant's vocal that like brings the volume in like loud.
It's not great.
It's
not great.
It's like obnoxious.
But here's the thing: we also want to provide a little bit of context for those who aren't like hardcore Zeppelin heads. Their debut album was recorded quick and dirty within about 36 hours over the course of a few weeks. Led Zeppelin 2 was recorded as they were on tour. Like they would get off a date, have a couple days in the studio.
That kind of stuff just doesn't happen in any...
It wasn't like a couple days in the studio. They'd have like 3 hours in a studio like before they went to the venue for a performance. And then they'd get back on the plane and then they'd land in a different city. So like a lot of these songs were recorded piecemeal in tons of different studios.
Well, and you have to think too, like 69 is when they're like touring hard. Like there's so many,
and they're getting
so many shows. I have a whole book that's basically
they're
nearly
concertography.
Nearly every show they played and what they played and where they played and why they played.
But the other thing is
they even include shows that were it just says canceled.
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd want to know that, but in case
at least
you're wondering about that show at the Hammersmith Odeon in November 25th, 1969, it was canceled.
Are there like whole like pages where it just says canceled?
Well, some of the
We'll talk about the book in a bit.
Well,
but,
well, yeah. Sorry.
I'll
try. But yes,
they were doing all these things, and also they were getting much better reception in the States than they were in the UK.
Absolutely.
UK press was like really didn't like them a lot.
No, not at all.
You know what? Jeff Beck's a really great blues guitarist. I don't know why you want to try and fucking follow Jeff Beck, you assholes. But the thing is, Led Zeppelin 3 and also Led Zeppelin 4, they founded an estate, Grange or whatever the fuck it's called.
Headley Grange, yeah.
Thank you. And the thing is that they went ahead and they went on to this...
That was later.
Yeah.
This is Brunier.
Yeah, Brunier. Yeah, sorry. Brunier, and they went ahead and recorded parts of 3 and 4 on this kind of isolated English estate. And so a lot of people say, that leads to a little bit more of an acoustic sound. Led Zeppelin 3 is kind of their acoustic album. And the thing is, that is like kind of the general populist perception of it. But I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? It opens with Immigrant Song, one of the greatest charging hard rock songs that they ever did.
Yeah.
And also that vocal hook.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine people like putting that on and that being the first thing is it's just this charging rhythmic guitar and then what Plant does the best, big like Viking scream of like I'm about to burn and pillage this whole town. Right, exactly. And then the bass line, I mean that's just nuts. That to me is why I would put 3 above 1.
One song.
No, not just that. Although, I mean, if we're gonna do one song to rank any, it would be the Immigrant Song would push me over for anything.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. But the fact that people give a lot of crap to like this acoustic crap, blah blah blah. But this stuff, especially in later tours, they would sit down and do like a 3 or 4 song acoustic set in the middle of their shows, which I think is so cool.
Yeah,
that they would do.
They're just on stools.
They would start
and Bonham
with
just has like a tambourine with a little like
right,
powder.
Exactly, and John Paul Jones, which I kind of joked with my bass player. Bass players have to learn how to play 6 or 7 instruments because they just get asked to. So John Paul Jones knows how to play mandolin. So he's playing mandolin, and then he has like this bass pedal thing that he's using, and. So, my point being is that I love the acoustic stuff on 3. Since I've Been Loving You is one of the best slow blues jams out there.
Absolutely.
Out on the Tiles.
That surprised me. That is genuinely a surprise in this.
I love that song. I love that song because not only is it great, the Zeppelin version great, and they use the introduction that they use that for when they would play Black Dog live. I have some recordings of them using that opening lick and then going into Black Dog, so that's awesome. Plus, there's several cover versions of that song that I really like, which I think kind of shows if it's a good song and it can be covered well. Yeah. Blind Melon, surprisingly, does a really great cover of that song. And then Jimmy Page and the Black Crowes have probably the best version of that, but we could talk about that later. Exactly. But anyways.
And Gallows Pole is fun, fun.
Yeah, Gallows Pole's great.
Gallows Pole, I was like, when I first heard it, but listening to it over and over again this week, I love it because it's acoustic guitar and then like a banjo comes in later.
Yeah.
But they're still doing like the full like rock strumming and like he's doing.
It's definitely acoustic rock. For sure.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's the way is like up there with one of the best songs they've ever recorded. I fucking love that song.
It's definitely, in my opinion, one of the best ballads that like slower acoustic ballads.
Yeah.
There's some great harmony on it. There's some great to me. Led Zeppelin 3 speaks more to what Led Zeppelin became. You have basically a mix of everything that is Led Zeppelin on it. Now they do it way better on 4, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
You have an opener that's just like, basically, it's a metal song. It's basically heavy metal right there. Mm-hmm. You have
Celebration Day is great.
Celebration Day is great.
Friends
you have a slow blues song. You have like a mid-level rocker, and then all this great acoustic music. Besides, hats off to Roy Harper. All this great acoustic music. So that's why I would say it's better than the premiere because it kind of was the shift. But
you were also mentioning something about physical graffiti too.
Yeah.
Initially, that was your number 6 pick. Now, here's the thing. I want to walk you through because physical graffiti. Again, this is after House of the Holy came out. They had to renegotiate their contract with Atlantic, and one of the things they got out of it was their own imprint, Swan Song Records. And part of the thing about Swan Song, they got to sign other bands. Their first signee was Bad Company, and that proved to be a really great business decision. The record label wound up closing 3 years after they broke up, but. The thing is that physical graffiti was the first thing that came out there. It's all part of
the rock and roll fantasy.
Oh, I know. And it was just full-blown, like...
That's my first pun.
Every different style, and, like, everything they could possibly throw together in one place.
Sure.
So, as such, it's simultaneously, I would argue, even more than House of the Holy, even more than Into the Outdoor, I would argue it is their most ambitious album. And when you have, it's almost like their White Album, basically. Not just because of the double disc thing, but because they try so many different fucking styles.
And some of them fail.
Some of them fail
royally,
spectacularly. Let's dive into a little bit of everything. I initially didn't like Down by the Seaside because it has kind of a slow burn to it. It's kind of this little like synthy bluesy little romp, and then it kind of like builds up. It's got that second part, third suite, and that other thing.
Well, here's the thing about physical graffiti. If we're gonna get into it, because here we go. The first LP of physical graffiti, which is Custard Pie Rover, In My Time of Dying, House of the Holy, Trample Underfoot, Kashmir. If they had just released that on its own, that's a flawless. All 6 of those songs are great. It's unfortunately when you get into the second LP which I think they kind of intentionally, I think somewhere along the line they knew that the second one wasn't as strong. That's why
there's the one.
The second,
song.
Right?
I enjoy on the second LP. I mean, like, I'm glad they decided to put it out also because I actually really enjoy In the Light.
Perfect, awesome.
I think Bron Your R is
any song that has Bron Your R in the title is actually pretty great. I'm just gonna say right now.
It's a great little acoustic lick. It's
exactly
cool. It's very cool.
And then I also really enjoy Night Flight. That one kind of snuck up on me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But then
it's ruined with Boogie with Stu.
Boogie with Stu is goofy.
But the fact that Boogie with Stu,
Sick Again. Yeah.
Boogie with Stu sounds like a really bad Steely Dan. Shout out to our dads song title. I mean, just sounds like a really bad title. But I do like my favorite song probably on the record. On this, when I say record, I mean the second LP. Is 10 Years Gone.
10 Years Gone is
and
not a bad choice.
The reason I like it is I don't know, I feel like the way he delivers the vocal is great. I've heard live versions of it where the solos is just extended. I don't know if you guys know this, but they do extended jams on their songs.
That just blows my mind.
The live songs were longer.
Bonzo's not
I also like Black Country Woman, just because I like it. Not necessarily for the song, but the studio part of it that has the very beginning where there's a plane flying over, and he's like the producer's like, "Should we roll it, Jimmy?" And he's like, "Wait a minute," and he's gonna stop, and then Plant's in this extremely gravelly voice, like, "Yeah, no, leave it." I don't know why I love that so much. But I love it.
That's what sells the song.
To me, that's what sells the song. It's actually also kind of a person. It's about Robert Plant cheating on his wife, basically. It's about how...
That's fun.
Yeah, which I'm not advocating that at all, just so we're clear.
The Chartographers does not endorse adultery.
Let's just get it
out there. Let's make that the bumper sticker, guys.
We have no, you guys have no sponsorship from Ashley Madison or any of that. We're not related to that at all.
And we did do that episode on Fleetwood Mac, too. So
exactly, there you go.
Exactly. British
and then Sick Again, it's okay.
But here's the other thing, though. It's like when you talk about physical graffiti, we talk about these things on the worst half. And the thing is that, as much as you want to talk about there's more songs in here, there's more great songs on here, we're talking about the albums. We have to consider the album as a whole. We can't just excuse those other songs on the back end. But, that being said, let's talk
But you want to excuse the albums, the songs on the back end?
I don't want to excuse them, but when you have that first LP, I'll be honest, Custard Pie doesn't really do it for me.
I would agree.
But when you have the fucking Rover, which is like, I think that's, like, some of my favorite Page guitar playing. And then when you have, Kashmir, obviously.
Okay, let's stop for a second about Kashmir, because there's interviews that Jimmy Page has done where people have asked, like, what do you think the most definitive Led Zeppelin song is? And you keep expecting the answer to be, of course, Stairway to Heaven. And he keeps saying Kashmir is the definitive Led Zeppelin song. And I kind of agree.
I would see that. I could see that.
Honestly,
I could see that.
For me, Kashmir took the success of Stairway to Heaven as, like, permission to be what it is.
Absolutely.
And it's so much darker.
Well, they needed a new Stairway. I mean, if we're gonna go back to Presence for just a second, I think that if you look, they started off with Stairway as arguably their first big epic song. They got Kashmir, which is their second big epic. They tried to go for a third with Achilles. It's not as good as the other two,
it's still
but
solid.
it's great.
It's still solid.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying is that I think, Kashmir it's in an awesome tuning, a dadgad tuning, which is rarely used. It's like, I think it's like a sitar tuning.
Yeah.
It's got all the great elements of what makes Zeppelin great. It's in a weird meter where, like, Bonzo's playing in like 4/4, where the riff is in 3 and it's like lining up brilliantly.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that.
Yeah,
the riff is in like
exactly.
12/8 or something.
Yeah, it's something ridiculous.
And there was this one article I was reading kind of talking about essentially audio, like optical, not like optical illusions, but audio illusions. Like, like Jeff Tweedy of Wilco, he loves doing stuff that just fucks with the audios of things. But that riff is like those chords in that order. It's like constantly escalating. Like, even though it's repeating itself, it feels like it's on this constant build.
Constantly.
And then the orchestra comes in to bring it down, but it's still like it's
also. Is it an orchestra? Because I was listening to it, and I think those are synth strings.
Well, yeah, when they played it live, it's definitely synth. Yeah. And I think...
Is it like a mix of both? Because like on Kashmir, I really couldn't tell. Mm-hmm. For, just to talk about a different album quickly, on Rain Song, which I also fucking love, those are definitely...
Oh, we're talking about Rain Song.
Those are definitely synth strings, and I hate it, because it could be like absolutely gorgeous if they had shelled out for a real orchestra. Like, this is post Zeppelin 4. You could have afforded real strings on this.
But John Paul Jones loves his fucking synthesizers.
Right, yeah, and I'm sure that's what it is.
But the thing is, I don't mind it in that context, because what he does there sounds a little bit more acceptable than what he does with fucking All of My Love, or that other annoying, cloying, dated shit. Like, the sense that he had there feels appropriate for the era, and as such, I don't feel like necessarily dates it in too heavy a way.
That's the weirdest thing, is that, like, how do the synths you have in 1973 on Rain Song sound better than the synths you use on the entire album in 79? But that's...
Yeah.
So listen.
All right, so we got to get this ranking here.
I know, that's the thing. Like, at the end of the day... Wait, Taran wants to say one other thing.
Just one last thing. The track Houses of the Holy on Physical Graffiti, absolutely up there, like, all-time favorites. Also, I fucking love Trampled Underfoot, because to me it sounds like their Doobie Brothers moment.
I can see it.
That's their fucking, like, Long Train Running.
Yes,
like,
yes. My dad and I have talked. My dad's a huge Doobie Brothers fan, for all those who don't know, and him and I have talked about that. And it's that Trampled Underfoot is actually one of my dad's favorite songs. But
makes sense.
Trampled Underfoot is great. Loads of innuendo. I don't know if you guys know about Led Zeppelin and innuendo,
discography.
But loads of innuendo. But anyways, there's, again, I hate to keep going back to the live, but the reason I love Led Zeppelin is because they're live. But the fact that there's a great live version of Trampled Underfoot where they kick the tempo up, and it just shows that sucker can just rock, and it's great. It's a great song. In My Time of Dying was actually the song that, as I was listening to it on the way up here, that pushed Physical Graffiti up higher for me. It's super long, and it's, again, another funny studio thing at the end of how they didn't really know how to end the song, and the producer coughs, so he says, "Make it my dying cough," and then he coughs, and it's kind of funny. But it's also...
I remember that.
You know what I'm talking about,
You hear the producer cough, and then Robert Plant goes, cough! Yeah.
Yeah, cough, and then it ends, and they're kind of like... We're millionaires.
Exactly.
But so I think we can agree that Physical Graffiti, I feel like, definitely needs to be higher than 6. But so are we between Led Zeppelin 1 and Led Zeppelin 3 for 6? Is that what we're saying? No?
I would put Led Zeppelin 3 above both 1 and Physical Graffiti.
Wow. All right, guys, this is getting into it. Oh, Phil doesn't know what to think about that statement.
Because I think 3 should be higher than 1, but not higher than Physical Graffiti. But that's just me.
I mean, I think that's a decent compromise.
Let's here.
So are we? Maybe I'm jumping ahead, and if I am, stop me. But are we in agreement that's in some combination 4-2 and Houses of the Holy will be in the top 3 of some sort?
4-2?
3-1.
And
yes.
What?
No, you're talking about the top.
Exactly.
The top 3.
Yeah, right. Led
The top
Zeppelin 4,
3.
number 6. So let's lock it in.
Yeah. And then
yourself.
right. Yeah. I was gonna say, not even close.
Not even funny. Not even funny.
Yeah. No.
Do
not joke about.
Let's put it this way. Okay. Maybe we can possibly do this as a way to satisfy all parties. Not that we have to be nice, but if we want to be nice. Number 6, Physical Graffiti, under the condition that number 5 is Led Zeppelin 1.
No.
Taran can't do it. Phil?
I think I understand why you want to do that, because Physical Graffiti has some shit in the back half, but it has so many incredible, like, huge, almost genre-breaking moments on it.
Yeah.
That, like, Led Zeppelin 1, again, it feels like a debut. They have a very specific...
Like a debut.
Okay, you're right. It is an incredible debut, but it is still their debut, and they're still, like, Plant isn't writing yet. They are doing a lot of blues covers.
You know why he's not writing yet, right? Because he was actually still under contract to CBS Records and as a solo artist. So as such, legally, he couldn't be credited as a songwriter on Led Zeppelin 1, despite the fact that he still had mighty contributions to do that goddamn album.
Here's another thing I'll throw in there. And maybe this will convince you, maybe it won't.
Led Zeppelin 3, number 6.
No. Why Physical Graffiti needs to be above Zeppelin 1
I want to hear it.
is because if we're talking songwriting, cover, half the record is covers. The Physical Graffiti, I'm pretty sure, like, probably, well, out of the 15, probably, I don't even know if any of them are not
so
original music.
Original songs they wrote. Original song. I'm pointing to Wanton Song, Boogie with Steel, Black Country Woman, and Sick Again as original songs, too. Like, I don't buy the necessarily doing the covers argument as necessarily being a detriment to their artistic abilities.
I agree when the covers aren't songs that, like, I particularly need to listen to. Sure, some of them are, but I think that the incredible... There are more songs on Physical Graffiti that are in, like, among the best songs they've ever written. When you have, I mean, that first record, that first LP, like, there are...
Those 6 songs, in my opinion, are better than the 9 on Led Zeppelin 1.
And I would say 4 of them are better than any of the songs on Led Zeppelin 1.
And to be clear, again, if you rewind the tape, we still use tape, right? If you rewind the tape, I have nothing but love for Led Zeppelin 1. It is a fantastic album. I think
Evan's outvoted. I think Led Zeppelin 1 is at number 6.
Phil really doesn't want to agree with that. He doesn't want to set too many fires.
I don't want. I'm just the guest, man.
No, you are part of it now. Okay, you are in it. There's blood and scars and everything.
I think here's what I'm going to say too.
Right.
I let Presence get demoted down, even though I didn't want it, because I love a lot of songs that are. Not a lot of songs. There aren't even a lot of songs on Presence to begin with.
Only 7.
I love 3 of the 7 on Presence, and so I just feel like you should just get over yourself.
Oh, okay.
And let us put.
Yeah.
For the record, I want the record
happening.
to note that you didn't see the face that Phil gave me. It's just like, you need to get over yourself is what you need to do. All right, in that case, guys, let's just go ahead and mark it up here before we do anything else. That means number 9 is Presence. Number 8 is In Through the Outdoor. Number 7 is Coda. Number 6 somehow is Led Zeppelin 1, even though it's wrong. And number 5 is Physical Graffiti. And on top of it, guys, I want to point out another important fact. We have been talking about Led Zeppelin for 51 minutes. We have 4 trailblazing albums left to go. For what? Listen, Led Zeppelin's 1 through 3. There's got to be a lot to say about it on top of House of the Holy.
That's true.
There's got to be a lot to say. So, guys, just for the sake of consistency and also not to have you listen to a 90-minute podcast, because whoever wants to listen to a podcast is over an hour, that's crazy. We're going to end it right here on a part 1. But let me just say, first off, before anything else, Phil O'Reilly, thank you for being here. This has been incredible, and despite your evil of outvoting Led Zeppelin 1, I want to say...
Well, I appreciate you looking past
You're great and fantastic. Taran, of course, as always. You should go without saying. Yeah. So, listen, we're going to go ahead and dive into a little bit more on the part 2, where we rank the definitive number 1 greatest Led Zeppelin album of all time. In the meantime, do us a favor. Leave us your ranking on these albums here, numbers 9 through 5, on their Facebook page.
Right.
Go ahead, rate us on iTunes, favorite us on Stitcher, do all the things in all the places, and share the shit out of this, because we put a lot of effort into it, kind of, sort of, maybe we're drunk. Also, thank you for listening. In the meantime, keep on listening. There will be part 2. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Adios. That the second one wasn't as strong. That's why there's
the Wonton
the second
song.
Right, the Wonton song about a 16th century how do they, what's the word they use?
The wrong book.
Strumpet. I know, right? It's the wrong book.
He's trying to be a librarian here, holding the deep secrets in the Book of Shadows.
This is a story about sex that plant delivers with subtle thrusting energy. The Wonton song.
No.
I didn't write it, guys.
I